All right, everybody, welcome to the BSB. I'm Sean Kaus.
I'm Tony James.
And we're here today with a special Thanksgiving Day session. We're going to talk about one of the greatest Thanksgiving traditions there is, and that's betting on Turkey Day football.
Man, I thought you were going to say pumpkin pie mashed potatoes, but I'm glad you said football. I like that very much as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of traditions that go on with Turkey Day, and I'm sure a lot of people's are ruined this year because of COVID. But you and Justin made new ones, but something that doesn't have to change is betting on football.
That's exactly right. And let's see if we can make a little money this week, while we're sitting at the table, our hands in our pants, like trying to stretch out the waistbands and like, holy smokes. But, there's games to be played. Let's win some money.
Yeah, I agree. And, some other tradition that never gets old, getting drunk on Turkey Day. So
well, I don't know about,
go ahead.
I don't know about you, man, but I've already started. I got this hoppy IPA from Evans Brewing right down the street. And it's one of my favorite breweries locally. And so I got started a little early.
Nice. Yeah, me too. I actually had to teach today. And so after class was done, it was time for a break. It was my Friday. So my flavor of the week is actually not a beer. It is my favorite. It is some Jim Beam. It's a double barrel. So, so smooth, so yummy. And then you got to mix it with the season favorite, cranberry ginger ale. Mm-hmm. And then we got our beautiful mixed drink. And, fantastic. I'm not going to bother to say how many it is in yet, but it's fantastic.
And so how appropriate in the Buffalo Bills tumbler. I love it. I love it.
Got to have everything Buffalo you like in the Zubaz.
For sure. Well, how'd you do last week, my brother?
Oh, I got my ass kicked last week. But like I said last week, I'm going to throw out Hail Marys, and I'm going to throw some bets that are okay. These are guaranteed. So I told you last week my guarantee was Louisville to beat the shit out of Syracuse because they suck, and they did in fact do that. They crushed them, and I got my $1. I spent $10 to win one, but I did get that guaranteed bet. The other bets were Hail Marys I threw up. There were 10-team teaser. There was a 4-team teaser. There was a 4-team parlay, and I threw them up. So I was okay. Let's have some fun. Might have got a little too drunk when I did those, and none of them hit. So my $100 turned into 11 really quick. So bad week, but I'm going to make a comeback this week. How about you?
Well, my parlay and my teaser both went in the toilet really quick with Ohio State and with New Mexico. But my two that I really, really liked, the two overplays came through. So the one for 44 and the one for 22 with the Raiders and the Chiefs. So I turned my 100 into 143. So I'll tell you what, man, we'll go to Taco Bell and have a couple of tacos to celebrate, but let's get right back to it and see what happens.
I like it. Hey, up 43 is better than down 89, and you are definitely way better than I am, brother. With Black Friday coming, I am in the red.
But it also goes to show you, just like you said, that they're high risk and reward. Mine was just straight bet one team, you either win it or you don't, and so I was able to come through, but yours would have been, now if yours would have hit, you would have had much more reward than me. And so that's the two sides, right? It's, if I'm going to bet one team, that's great. But the chances of me hitting it really big are only going to happen if I bet a lot of money.
Correct. And if you're a seasoned bettor, you might be at the point where you're betting, I only want to bet on the game and I want to make sure I make money because I got enough of it. But if you're kind of, trying to break into it and get as much money as you can quickly, and you just want to have I don't normally do this, but I'm going to bet and I'm going to try to make a lot of money. That's what it is. So,
well, let's see what we got going this week. And remember, everybody, this is all just for entertainment purposes. We don't make any guarantees. We're just out here to have fun, just like you. And some weeks we win, and some weeks, well, we don't win as much. So, just remember, we don't make any guarantees here.
Agreed. I wish I could guarantee, but if I could guarantee, I wouldn't be a teacher anymore. That's for sure.
No joke. What do you want to lead off with? We've only got 3 games to choose from now. So what do you want to lead off with?
I know. Well, we can do it just quick. For those of you that don't know, the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game has been moved to Sunday because Baltimore had a numerous amount of COVID cases come back positive. So they moved it from tomorrow, Thursday's game to Sunday's game. So they're still playing. But the Colorado State Air Force College game, that game is canceled. COVID whipped through Colorado State. And, part of that, too, is college is a freaking joke this year. I like college football, but what a freaking joke. What's the point? Even the pros are having positives. You got kids. Think about what you did in freaking college. We did some stupid shit in college. These are college kids. They're going to still go do stupid shit, and they're going to get freaking COVID. So why? I understand. Let them play, but they're going to do stupid shit, and it's just going to cancel everything anyway. So
it's too difficult. It's too difficult for them. I mean, you're asking 18, 19, 20-year-olds to try and act like 28, 20. Oh, shoot, maybe even 40, 41-year-olds. Man, when I was 18, I was just worried about where I was going to get my next beer. So you're exactly right. It's asking a lot. And, you have a team like Arizona State that might wind up playing one game this year. It's like, are you kidding me? So,
correct. Well, and Alabama comes out ranked number 1, and now their fucking head coach can't even coach because he's got symptoms. Like, it's just a joke. At least, the NFL has, like we said, adults. And not only that, they have everybody in the NFL. They may still suck, but they suck for being in the NFL. They're better than any one of us probably watching this right now. So they're there for a reason. So, and you have a ton of people you can choose from, and they might not be as good, but they're still in the NFL for a reason. So when you go to the college, like you recruit kids, you only get so many scholarships. You only get so much you can recruit. And if those kids are out for COVID or whatever, now you are picking kids off the freaking street, and it's just a bad situation. So
let's hope we can get through the rest of the season somehow, and then somehow get to some sort of conclusion at the end, and then regroup for next season.
And it'll have an asterisk with it. But all right, so let's start. I'm going to start my straight bet now. Once again, straight bets. If you guys remember, straight bet is just I'm betting on this team or this thing to happen. Straight, nothing else happening. I am actually going to take Dallas on the money line against. Oh my gosh! I just had a brain fart. I'm looking
against
at
Washington.
Thank you, Washington. Wow, I was looking at
the
college part of my notes. My fault. I'm going to take Dallas on the money line. Remember, money line means no points, so they're not giving up points. They're not getting points. It's just they're going to straight win. And right now they're 142, and that line may change, and it has changed already. But before we started this, it was at 142 and 142, and I looked at it; it already changed. But so that minus 142, that means I would have to bet 142 to win $100. Okay, I don't have that much, and we're going with our traditional $100 a week, and we're getting an extra 100 for Turkey Day. Nice. So on my $100, I am going to take 30 of it on Dallas on the money line, and I'm going to take that 30 to win 21. So that's my straight bet, Dallas to win straight up.
That's not a bad pick. You got two teams that I just flat out don't trust either one of them, but Dallas looked a lot better last week with Andy Dalton than they did before with Don Juan De La Nuche. And so, I really like the fact that they're playing at home and that they're coming off a great performance. So I think that could lead to some momentum for them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. My worry is Washington has a great freaking defense. They're first on pass yards allowed, and that doesn't bode well for Andy Dalton. But I think when you're looking at this is a battle of has-been quarterbacks. It's Andy Dalton versus Alex Smith. And don't get me wrong, when they were quote unquote in their heyday, I thought they were very good quarterbacks. I never thought they'd get to the promised land, but I thought they were good quarterbacks. And it was horrible what happened to Alex Smith, and it's a great comeback. It's an amazing comeback story, and I love it. But let's be honest, they are old, they are has-been. So this game is a shit show. So to make it a little better for me, I'm going to throw a little money line on it on Dallas. So
no, that's a great idea. And then when you're on your third or fourth, their whiskey and Canada Dry, make it even better.
Agreed.
Well,
what are you thinking for it?
My straight bet, and this is, usually I like to look at the numbers and take a look at sides and see if I can find some sort of statistical way to back up what I'm betting, but my straight bet has absolutely nothing behind it whatsoever other than feel and think. And that is the over in the Detroit-Houston game. I showed it at 51.5. And I just think that you have two teams that are terrible running teams, but decent passing teams. And I think they're just going to come in and try to just give us a show. And so I really like Pad Statford to pad some stats and to pad my wallet. I'm taking 1/3 of my bankroll and putting it on Detroit and Houston over.
Ooh, here is my problem with that. So you're taking 30 of it and putting or 33 of it to win 30. I better write that down so I can record this here.
So you can throw it in my face on Friday.
Well, I'm going to throw it in your face right now because look, you've got, first of all, Detroit might not even have Matt Stafford playing. He's still got that thumb injury. He might not be playing. That could screw you right there. And yes, their passing sucks regardless. But it can't. He's their best option. So
agreed.
Them not having him, that already screws it. They're just the only thing that is in the over's favor is that Detroit got thumped last week, so they're going to be looking at coming back. Houston had a big win, but it was a long win, and they had freaking 27-20 was over New England, and that was a long game, and now they're on the short. They're both on short weeks, but at least Detroit got thumped the whole way through, and they could kind of sit and relax and go, we suck. So I disagree with you on this wholeheartedly. Like, I don't see a way it could go over. Honestly, I really think these coaches are just looking for a freaking win. One of these coaches is going to get fired after this game. I have a
100%, 100%. And like I said, I have nothing to hold my hat on. They're both, in the top half of passing offenses, but they're both dreadful runners. So I just see the balls and be in the air a lot. And I really like Deshaun Watson. I think his only reason he took a step back this year is the way that Bill O'Brien sabotaged his team and just basically took all his weapons away. So, but for some reason, I don't know if this game goes to overtime at 20 and then they both kick field goals and then there's a touchdown, that's 52 and that makes it happen. So
I think you're on track. Houston has 3 wins and 2 of them are against Jacksonville, who's this week not even playing Gardner Minshew. They're not even playing who is their backup there? Lutton. They're playing fucking Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon has started in Jacksonville.
The giraffe.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that for Sunday. But Houston, yes, he is a good quarterback. I am not arguing that, but you're right. He did sabotage it. But I don't see how this goes over. They're just so terrible. And Patricia should have never left New England. And that's, if you take, I think the best trio coaching ever was Belichick, Patricia, and
McDaniels.
You can't beat that, and they fuck that. So
aren't you just waiting tomorrow to see the camera shot of Matt Patricia and put a little thought bubble above his head that says, "I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today"? I mean, come on, that's just the best.
Oh, he's gonna get shit canned after this game. All right, so moving on. Yep, I am going to go. Let's start talking about some parlay action now.
Let's do it.
And traditionally, you take parlay in, hey, I really want this team, but they're a heavy favorite, and I don't want to just bet $10 to win $1. So I'm going to take that heavy favorite and another heavy favorite, another heavy favorite, put 2 or 3 or 4 of them together. And now, even though they're heavy favorites, even though it might cost me $10 to win $1, when I put all 4 of them together, now I'm getting that $10 to make me some money. So that's why, excuse me, that ginger ale's kicking in already. That's why we are, that's the normal reason you take parlays for season bettors. They don't do it a lot, because a lot of people do parlays just because, I think these 2 teams are going to win, so I'm going to try to win a lot of money on them and put them together, which is another reason to do it. But usually you do a parlay saying, hey, we want to – I have heavy favorite. I don't want to spend $10 to win $1. I want to go past that. So my parlay that I originally had was the 2 college games, but now that Colorado State Air Force is canceled.
Mhm.
I am focusing strictly on the New Mexico-Utah State game.
Yes.
And what I am doing is I am taking the under, and the under is 51.5 right now, and I'm taking New Mexico on the money line. And here's the thing. Yeah, you can say all you want and argue with me all you want. But Utah State hasn't scored more than 16 points in a game yet. They suck. They're terrible. I mean, both these teams are terrible, let's be honest. But it's going to be rainy. It's going to be cold. They haven't – points for Utah State is 11.3, whereas New Mexico is 18.5. So when you look at that stat alone, it's going to be a low-scoring game, and New Mexico is going to somehow trip over their shoes and fall into the end zone and get the winning touchdown to make it away. So I'm taking New Mexico on the money line at minus 228 and the under 51.5. And that 20, I'm going to put $20 on that to win $34.
So that's not a bad play because they are both dreadful. You're going to be watching a game with a team with no wins between them. And, Utah State didn't get to play because of the COVID last week, and New Mexico is just a team without a home right now. So that's a solid pick. I actually like the idea of picking the under. So I don't know if New Mexico is going to be able to pull it off, but I really like what they're building in Albuquerque right now, or in Vegas, I should say. So no, that's solid. I really like that.
Yeah, it's the reason I parlayed those is, like I said, New Mexico is a minus 228. So if I just took New Mexico on the money line, if I was really that confident, I'm not going to get a lot for my money. Whereas putting those two together, now I actually make money. That's why I did the parlay.
So minus 228 and under 51.5. All right. I like it. I really like it.
What do you got for your parlay?
So I was originally going to stay away from this game because I was going to throw all of my money into the Ravens and Steelers, but when that got canceled, I had to actually pick this game, and man, it's so hard because I don't like either one of these teams at all. But I'm going in the Dallas game, and I'm going Dallas on the money line and under 46. I like the way that Dallas plays with Dalton, but I can't trust. They scored 30. They scored in the 30s last week, but I just cannot trust Dallas to get over 30 again. And Washington scored 20 against Cincinnati. This feels to me like a 23-17 type of game. But I think Dallas is going to come out on top. They play a lot better with Dalton than they do with whoever they pull off the street. And so I like Dallas in the under tomorrow, and I'm going to parlay that. I'm going to take, I'm going to take a third of my, I'll take 30 on that as well. See what happens.
Nice. So you're going to do that. That 30 is going to win you $63. So you're looking good there.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah. And I actually, for the most part, I agree with you. I agree. I mean, Dallas football on Thanksgiving, my Bills kicked their ass last year, which was amazing. But I think they're due for a comeback on Thanksgiving. The reason to take the under and the only reason to hesitate on Dallas, and I'm going to talk about it in my teaser, is Washington's defense is phenomenal. They're number one on passing. They're phenomenal. So that scares me a little bit, taking them on the money line, which is why I'm going to tease them and talk about them here. But other than that, I think you got a solid bet right there.
All right. That sounds good. Let's get a lot of solid bets this week. That'd be really cool.
That would be really cool. All right. I'm going to go next, and I'm going to take a teaser.
Let's talk about it.
So teaser, remember, is one of those bets when usually you're like we were just talking about this Dallas game. We'll focus on the Dallas game because I actually split both of my teasers contain both the NFL games, and I actually split them up. You could put them together. I split them up. That way I have interest all day instead of just one game in the other game. But you could put them together. But like I said, I don't trust Dallas to straight out win this, but I do think it's going to be a close game. So I took Dallas right now as -3. So I'm definitely not confident in them winning by 3, and I'm not even confident in winning them overall. But if you take a tease, you add 6 points to that. So that -3 becomes Dallas +3. Now, my odds are going to go down. I'm not going to win as much money, but I feel more confident with Dallas getting points than giving points. Because, like you said, this game could go either way. And I really think it could be within a field goal that splits them. So I'm teasing that Dallas up 3. Now, when you do a teaser, you have to pick at least 2 teams. You cannot just do one team. But once again, by teams, we mean either a team or an over and under or whatever, and obviously can't be the money line because you're adding 6 points to it. Mm-hmm. So on that, like I said, I'm not as confident as you that they're going to win, but I'll tease it up and take them at 3 points. I'm good with that. And then I'm going to switch to the other game and talk about Detroit-Houston that we already talked about. And once again, we already talked about this. I am teasing it up, and because right now the over is 51.5. And you took the over, saying it's over, and technically we both could win this bet because I'm going to tease. Yes, but I'm going to tease up the 51.5. I'm going to add 6 points to that, make it 57.5, and then say they're going to go under because I don't think they're going to go over 51.5. But I could see, like you said, it happens. It could get to that 52. So I'm going to just tease it up just to make sure they don't get there and take under 57.5. So I'm teasing Dallas -3 to +3 and the over 51.5 in the Detroit-Houston game to 57.5. And I'm going to put $40 on that. And my $40 is going to win me 36. So I'm not winning as much, but I think that's more of a solid bet.
And you make a great point about the possibility now with teasing that total up to 57.5 that me doing a straight bet on the over and you doing a teaser on the under, if the score winds up somewhere in the middle, like 28-27, we're both winners. And that's the advantage of a teaser, is it allows you the flexibility with your point spread and your odds to do things like that. Shoot, you could even have, Sean, you may have done this before, I know that I have, is go to the window and do a straight bet on one team and then tease the same team. And now, you can manipulate the odds in your favor, so your chances of walking away a winner are greater. Agreed.
And you can, some people look at that as hedging your bet. Like, oh, I took, Dallas on the money line. Now that I look at it and I see, that Washington has the number 1 passing defense, but they're 18th in rushing yards allowed, or, Washington's 0-4 on the road when they're going to Dallas or stuff like that. When you start to see that after you already placed that bet, you're kind of hedging your bet and say, okay, I'm going to put them in the teaser to make sure I win that game. Or you could go the other way and go, I'm freaking 100% confident Dallas is going to win this game. Washington's terrible. Alex Smith's going to break his leg again, and let's hope that doesn't happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
That was an off-color joke. I shouldn't have said it, but I think something's going to happen, and Washington's not going to win this. So I'm going to take Dallas, and I'm even going to put them in a teaser just because they're going to win anyway. So I'm going to take them in a teaser. So you could go either way on that.
Sounds good. I think you got a winner there. Well, I'm going to the college game on this one, and once again, the way that I did it, similar to the way that you did yours, we could both wind up a winner here. I took that Utah State because they're at home. They're getting 6.5, but I teased that up to 12.5 because I don't think that there's any way possible that New Mexico wins any game against any team by more than 10. And then I also took the under on that game because I think it's going to be cold and snowy. And like you said before, these teams couldn't score without the other team on the field. So I went Utah State. I'm teased it up to 12.5, and the under I teased it up to 57.5. And, I'm going to put 33 on that. And hopefully I'm going back to the window at 7:30 tomorrow night.
Nice. Well, your 33 is going to win you a nice 40 there. And we could both win this, teasing Utah State up to 12.5 makes it very possible for us to both win it. But I just, they haven't scored any points. How can you
well, see, I'm getting all the help I can get now. They already got 12.5 before they didn't get the ball off. You're right. And it's such a goofy season, and some of these lines just don't make any sense. And this is just one of those lines that I just think doesn't make any sense. Do I think New Mexico's going to win the game? Absolutely. I think they do pull this off. I think they win by a late field goal or a late touchdown, but there's no way that I can think of that says that they're going to do 2 touchdowns better on the road, no less, in a snowy environment. Yeah, there's just no way for me.
No, I agree with that. I got one more teaser for you. I'm going to throw it out. Just a little $10 one to round my $100 off. I'm looking at the Houston-Detroit game. I'm still not confident in Houston at all. but I'm not confident in Detroit either. Detroit has one more win. And they really shouldn't. That win against Arizona, that was a fluke, and I don't care what you say. And yes, Arizona beat my Bills, and I am bitter about it, but they're still a good team. If you have to win by a Hail Mary, then you can't consider yourself great yet. And they needed another miracle against Seattle, and they didn't get it, and that kind of made my point for me. But I still think they're a good team, and they're a damn better good team than Detroit. So Detroit really should only have 3 wins. You're looking at 2 3-win teams here. So it's still a shit show, and one of these coaches is going to get fired. But I just think Houston has a better shot, especially if Matt Stafford doesn't play. Taking it now, and maybe tomorrow this changes. If you get it in right before the game and you find out whether Matt Stafford is playing or not, then that would change my whole mindset. But I'm taking the chance that he is going to play, but that injured right thumb is really going to hurt him. So I'm going to tease Houston at -2.5, and I'm going to tease that up to +3.5 just to make sure, because once again, this is a field goal game. There's no way it's not a field goal game. I don't think anybody blows anybody out. And then when I go to the Washington-Dallas game, like we said already, the fact that keeps sticking in my head is Washington's D is so freaking good. They're amazing. And Dallas is going to have to run on them. They have to use Ezekiel Elliott. They have to get him going. And for him to do that, they're going to have to do over 100 yards with him alone on the ground. And that's going to slow down the game. They're not going to have as many points. So I'm taking the under, but I'm teasing it up, making that 46 up to 52 and taking the under. And that's going to give me $10 to win 9.
Both solid, man. There's nothing really to argue with the Washington game for sure. Houston, I mean, the only thing that could derail that is if somehow Matt Stafford remembers that, he was the number 1 pick so many years ago, and if Calvin Johnson comes out of retirement and plays tomorrow, and they get that band back together, I think that might be the only thing that can derail that. But yeah, it's I think that's solid. I think you're looking at a good payday tomorrow.
Yeah, I think. Other than that one game, I think we're both pretty solid. It's a good thing we get drunk on Thanksgiving because, last year I felt there was good games. The Bills-Dallas game was a great game. Green Bay game was a great game. Like, I feel like when you look, I almost feel bad for Deshaun Watson because he's now stuck in with Matt Stafford, with Alex Smith, and with Andy Dalton as the 4 quarterbacks playing on fucking Thanksgiving. And he's by far the best of them, but he's lumped in the same category because they all suck. There is a combined 13 wins between these 4 teams. 13 wins. There's
going to be some dreadful games tomorrow, but I go back and think about it, and there have been some dreadful matchups that just turn into just fun games. I think of off the top of my head a game about 10 or 11 years ago with Cleveland at Detroit, and both the teams were terrible. And my friend Eric said, if the under was 17.5, I'd probably take it. And so he bets the under at 38.5, and the game winds up being like 48-35 or something like that. Oh. So you never know. You get 2 awful teams. They just might put on a show for you. And that's what I'm counting on tomorrow.
Correct. And having food, having family, if you are getting together with family, we're actually going to neighbors. If you're getting ready for family's great. Friends are great. Food is great. Booze makes it great. And watching football, shit games like that, putting money on it makes it great.
For sure. I'm really excited for tomorrow. I'm excited to just sit in front of the TV, have a few drinks, hang out with the fam, and watch some games.
Hey, I wish I was going to be there with you, brother. I wish we were celebrating together, but unfortunately we're not. But I hope your turkey day is good, and all you guys at home, I hope you have a safe, healthy Thanksgiving. And we're actually going to do this again on Friday so we can cover the weekend's picks. So we'll be back in a couple of days.
Yep.
And one last reminder, this is purely entertainment. We are not guaranteeing anything. We are just having fun doing this.
Yeah, so don't go put your mortgage on something that we say. For God's sake, don't do that.
I agree. All right, brother. I will talk to you Friday.
Sounds good. Cheers.
Love you.
Love you. Later.